my gold standard for companies with their grief guidance is having a good grief strategy in place, and having a very obvious line on their intranet that could sit under mental health work, or preferably I would ask companies to have an entirely separate part of their intranet for grief guidance, so that when somebody suffers massive change in their lives through a death, through a bereavement, or divorce, or diagnosis, or workplace change, they would know where to look and who to contact for that provision. So my gold standard would be that maybe a company starts with a general grief talk where I would go in, I'd be there in person with an audience, but also it would be live streamed and recorded so that everybody has access to it, and that can sit on the company's intranet under the grief guidance provision. Then from that, the company often will send me one-to-one clients, so send me their staff who need help, and I do that on Zoom because my clients are all over the UK and in fact the world. I follow up each one-to-one session with an email detailing the highlights of our discussion, and that forms part of the member of staff's grief toolkit with signposting, etc. From that, we set up grief allies in a company, where as part of the community we allocate one person who will be the person just to check in on the member of staff, see how they're doing, and with their permission translate anything they want translating to other staff in their team. I also get called in for companies where I've given a grief guidance talk. I'm asked quite often, sadly, to go in and do a very small, intimate discussion with a team around a person who's died to help them through their grief, or where somebody suffered a major bereavement and they're off work for a little while. I might go into the team and do a similar talk to bring them together and to help them know how to support that person. These are all tools which help people stop leaving their jobs just because they've been through a major bereavement. Another lovely suggestion for companies is that they offer a compassionate day's leave for somebody who's bereaved. So once a year, for as long as they want it, they can choose when they have that day. I'm very sad to hear again that many of my clients actually take sick leave around an anniversary, or in the run-up to Christmas, or the person who's died's birthday, because they are just poleaxed by grief around that time, and it often doesn't matter how many years on that is, they can still really suffer around that time. But by giving that choice of them taking a day off when they need it, it's showing that you understand, and it's showing support for their grief. And those little small acts of kindness from a company can make a huge difference to how safe they feel at work.